Hi guys, Kaze here. Welcome back. We're back with more Men of Yoshiwara with Asagiri. We are now on chapter 5, A Man Who Cannot Be Restrained. Alright, let us go on. Remember, of course, to vote. Voting for this closes on chapter 8. And your choices are Utsusemi or Gakuto for our next playthrough. Let me know. Alright guys, let's go. After my night with Asagiri, I undertook my task at work with zest as soon as I got home. I felt a sort of eagerness and excitement I had never known before. I felt as though I could take on the world. Mother, Western clothes are rather popular in the mainland, aren't they? I brought my proposal to Mother, making use of what I learned from Asagiri last night. Everything he told me about the mainland sounded appealing, and every story shone. I was completely absorbed in listening, forgetting how late it was getting. My, you're well informed. Well, yesterday, I heard some things in Yoshiwara. Of course, a lot of information is passed around in the Pleasure District, after all. They see guests from the mainland on occasion as well. Do we not sell Western clothes? I'm afraid kimonos are still a norm on the island. And besides, I love kimonos. But I hear that most things popular in the mainland can see popularity here too. So perhaps it would be a good idea to give those Western clothes a try. Seeing my eagerness, Mother's usually calm eyes went round with surprise. Gus, I thought you weren't interested in the shop. Perhaps Ohgiya has a better experience than I had expected. Oh, well, I plan on taking helping out around the shop more seriously from now on. It was very wordy. Indeed. But are you sure you simply don't want to try on those new clothes? Well, I think any young girl would want to try them on. Indeed, they would. Mother was a woman possessed of a very calm, nurturing feel. However, she had enough strength to hold up the Kitsune family. And after a period of deep thought, Madame, the shipment from the mainland has arrived. Musashi made his quiet announcement. Oh, my, how the time has flown. Mother hurried to the shop's entrance, and I went after her, ready to help. In today's shipments, next to the usual fabric, was silk cloth. It seemed that making blouses out of high-quality silk was a fashion in the mainland. It was a little pricey, but it was more than enough for one outfit. Or so the letter with the silk said. Mother's reaction wasn't half bad either. New things are wonderful, and this silk, it feels so wonderful. My heart bounced with expectation. I just made myself sound like my mother. I'm sorry. Meeting with Asagiri and hearing what he had to say brought me a great sense of anticipation, of eagerness. And today, I was on my way to Yoshiwara again. Do be careful, my lady. Thank you, Musashi. I'll see you tomorrow morning. I'll be here. However, I must say, you seem rather cheerful. Oh, I have every reason to be. I knew that if I saw Asagiri, I'd feel like everything would go well. Besides, work was actually going really well. Mother praised how I was helping out around the shop. All of a sudden, it felt like everything I saw glowed. That was the strange, wonderful mood I had been in lately. Asagiri was such a strange, alluring man. You certainly have taken a liking to Asagiri, I see. What are you talking about? No. Embarrassment burned my cheeks. I shot my gaze off to the side and pursed my lips. Forgive me, I've simply appeared that way. I have taken a liking to Asagiri. I felt like a thick mist of heated frustration filled my heart. I thought I was going to say she had a thick head. It's like, okay. Anyway, I must be off. I took my leave, nearly running off. Take care. Musashi's like, yeah, she's just trying to hide it. Though I had my back turned to him, I felt like I heard Musashi's voice louder than usual. You're back. I was guiding to Asagiri's room, his face lit up as if he'd been waiting for me. Like a large flower blooming, his smile came to life, brimming with beauty and elegance. Good evening. I hope the night finds you well. Why the formality? I was not trying to be funny, but Asagiri chuckled away anyway. His laugh caught me off guard, and it wasn't sure what expression would be appropriate. I had been waiting for you. Today, tomorrow, the day after, I'll always be waiting for you. You know your words very well. I'm serious. Though I'm glad to have my expression praised. He softly touched my hair. I loved his fingers, and having them caress me like that made me purr like a cat. My mood instantly took a better turn. I wanted to see you, Kaze. His fingers on my hair went down my back, sliding onto my waist. He held on tight, and as I realized this, I was in his arms. So, it looks like you've got my scent on you today, too. I really like it. I put my hands around his sleek, delicate-looking back. When I did, I found it was larger, more solid than it looked, more masculine. And that had made my heart jump. Do you always wear it? I don't want to waste it. Please, wear it. And think of me. But I'll need your scent to think of you, Asagiri. Truly. Truly, I need not lie. His grip slowly softened. He pulled away just a little bit, and we gazed into each other's eyes. Ooh, it sounds promising. Those eyes, clear enough to suck you in, gave off the slightest hint of moisture and came closer. And then his eyes came down on mine, lashes wavering. Our lips became together. A sweet scent entered my nostrils. It was his scent and mine mixing. His sweet, gentle kisses came quietly. Our lips met, then came apart. When you gaze at me, it feels like you're looking right into me, seeing almost everything inside. Do you have something you'd rather not have seen? You could say that. Oh, indeed, my little lustful desire to bed you, for instance. I'm joking, of course. I think my feelings are too pure to be called lust. What do you mean? Well, lust is just that, is it not? An overwhelming desire of the flesh. I suppose. That's probably all it is. But as I am now, I simply want to touch you. To run my hands along your body, to feel you. Before I knew it, his voice had taken on a primal erotic tone. He softly reached out and touched my cheek, inflamed by shame. These smooth cheeks, this well-shaped face, these plump, tiny lips. I want to touch them, Kaze. I want to feel you. Say, Asagiri? His provocative tone made me want to run. One of his hands was locked strongly on my hip, and his other was stroking at my cheek, forecasting things to come. I don't want to break you. Just want to touch you. Okay? With that sweet feeling, gentle and supple like silk. His lips came to mine once again. I could not take the embarrassment and had to close my eyes. And the moment I shut my eyelids tight, his lips came to mine as predicted, then left right away. Is your heart pounding, Kaze? Then ever so gently, Asagiri placed his hand on my chest. He had to have noticed my heartbeat get even louder. No! I held onto the hand he had on me tight. I wish to touch the soft skin of yours. Is that still out of reach? It wasn't that. There were so many things I wanted to talk about. But fleshy matters like this, they weren't what I wanted. Right? That's where I noticed, what was I doing? Why did I come to see Asagiri forgetting my duty? Oh, that's right. Asagiri? I just found my way back to reality. I think it's about time I prepared myself. Oh? His face darkened, but in an instant he showed me his usual smile. Well, I wouldn't mind if you still wanted to fool around in the dream world, you know. Remember, one doesn't become a child within a night or two. Then, Kaze, could you come to me? If I brought you, we wouldn't have to do this. We could... I can't do that. What are you talking about, Kaze? What? Asagiri's face was shockingly cold. You know I like it here, don't you? But you would try to remove me from Yoshiwara anyway? That's because that's because when I'm with you, I feel everything will turn out well. I would. Oh, what was it? I would be happy. If I could stay with Asagiri as long as I wanted, I would be happy. But only me. I had no permission from my mother, and I had not asked even Asagiri how he felt. I was only thinking of myself. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Please join the Kitsune family. I'm sorry, I think. I am sorry. I'm sorry. I couldn't believe how selfish I had been. Come now, you needn't apologize. Asagiri smiling like nothing had happened. But more importantly, what will we do tonight? It seemed Asagiri really didn't care about what I had been saying. Really? Why not? I was not joking, you know. We'd only spent a few nights together, but I have learned so much with you. I've been able to lose myself in my work, and every day is far more enjoyable than before. I'm glad to hear it. That's why I wish to spend more time with you. Is that so strange? I asked him seriously, my eyes locked on him. However, Asagiri let out a small sigh. Kaze. Yes? I like the slow, hedonistic life here. It suits me. So even if I go out, I prefer to be of use to no one. That cannot be true. But it is, Kaze. Even when I was growing up on the mainland, I just played around making candy sculptures. My father used to yell at me for it all the time, but the past is the past. Who people really are inside, that doesn't change. I love living carefree, nonchalant. I do not wish to be held back by anyone, not even by one so beautiful as you. His hand came to me, about to touch my cheek, and before I knew it, I had smacked it away. Kaze, are you angry? You really don't feel for me, do you? What? Of course I do. Do not believe you. If you did, you would come with me. But since I'm just another client to you, you don't want me to buy you. That's not it. Kaze, please, calm down. No, let me go. Asagiri tried to hold me back to calm me down. But I desperately resisted. My heart flew into chaos, embarrassment, disappointment. I had been so excited, and I was the only one. Just what was I doing? Kaze, it isn't like you to lose your composure so. Get off of me. Let me go. I pushed away Asagiri's chest with all I had, and he gave up on trying to calm me down and gently let me go. Don't you understand, Kaze? Like a fish can only live in water, this is the only place I can live. You're not a fish. I'm not. But what people can do, I cannot. Though, were I a fish, how much easier would life be? The blood rushed to my head. I didn't know just how sad he looked right then. I just focused on myself entirely, wrapping my heart in protective thorns. My lady? I dash out of Asagiri's room and run back home, immediately shutting myself in my room. My lady, what is the matter? My lady! Musashi desperately called out for me from behind the door. A tear rolled down my cheek as a storm overcame my heart. Leave me alone, Musashi. I'm fine. I finally managed to force those words out in the most emotional, neutral voice I could muster. And though I had felt that Musashi stood in the front of my room for a time after that, I eventually heard his footsteps leaving. In the moment, I did, as if my emotion dam broke, but tears began to stream down my face. I thought you'd be surprised, of course, but happy to hear my offer. There'd be small obstacles, of course, but nothing we couldn't overcome together. Had I just been excited by myself with no consideration for him? Disappointment, sadness, pain, rage, and affection. All sorts of emotions crossed my heart, vanishing as fast as they appeared. I knew crying wouldn't solve anything, yet in my mind all that appeared was Asagiri's smiling face. I shouldn't have said anything. I should have just kept it to myself. Is this what happens when you fall in love with someone? If it is, it's a terrible, ugly, filthy thing. On the same level as the lust Asagiri told me about today. I was just corrupt as those base desires. I did not run out of tears that night. The next morning, my lady, how are you feeling? I heard Musashi's quiet voice coming from my door. I slowly hoisted up my torso to find my head in pain and my eyelids hot. I don't know. May I answer? Come in. He came into the room bearing a small bucket and cloth. It may be helpful to cool off your eyes a little. So he knew I had been crying. Normally I would find that embarrassing, but today my thoughts were paused and I simply nodded. Please, lay down. But, madam, I had not noticed that you returned last night. I have not told her anything either. I will tell her that you returned this morning and are feeling a little ill. Would that be all right? I suddenly saw Sashi's familiar face and missed tears. Pride due to the leftover tears. Thank you. He gently placed a cool, damp cloth over my eyelids and forehead. That feels much better. If anything has happened, please let me know. For you, my lady, there's nothing I would not. Musashi? I called his name unconsciously when he stopped in the middle of a sentence. Yes, my lady? Could we, just for a little, hold hands like before? Just a little bit, like when I was a child. After a brief moment, he softly took my hand with that rough, large hand of his. Musashi's voice was completely different from the sleek, delicate hand Asagiri possessed. But back then, when I was scared, when I couldn't sleep, Musashi would hold my hands like this. The courtesans of the pleasure house are not to be fallen for, aren't they? Those that live in that realm of dreams cannot step into reality. I was wrong, Musashi. Though it shook, Musashi clutched mine tighter. I am sorry. That was all he said, with a voice shaking as much as his hand. The words simply slipped out of his mouth. Interesting. Very interesting. I wonder how everything's going to turn out between her and Asagiri now. Will we get back together? We will find out, because we have so many other chapters left. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Bye. Kazuya, guys.